Those of you unfamiliar, we go to E3 every single year, and E3 is the largest electronics convention basically every year, and they talk about, not E3, but Microsoft goes, Sony goes, EA didn't go this year, Bethesda, so all the big game developers and publishers go, and it's kind of like you get to play and talk to the devs and all that before the game comes out, and it's hosted at the Los Angeles Staples Center, which is a huge fucking building, and this is the start of it before we get in there. So we're walking to it. Once we get in, this picture was funny because this was when we went to go pick up our badges, and you're not supposed to take any pictures of anything before E3 starts. So like there was like 3 security guards back here. There was one right there, and then one to the left, and then one to the right. And when I pulled out my phone, I'm like, put that phone away. And I was like trying to scramble to get a picture, and I finally took it. And she's like, did you just take a picture? I was like, no, I was just trying to text my friend to let him know we were picking up our badges. And then she's like, you better not be taking no pictures. So yeah, this was a very interesting picture I had to take. I tried to take it as fast as possible and get the E3 and all the banners in there. But this is us picking up our badges. This is the badge. Look at that, Warshak plays, that officialness. This was outside of the convention center. There's the first picture in the background there. This building is like to walk from one end to this convention center to the other would probably take 20 minutes, maybe more. So this is a big ass convention center, and this was day one. All the lines, it's ridiculous. So with the E3, normally it's only for people inside the industry can go, but this particular year that they opened it to the public, which added an additional 15,000 people. So last year there was, I think, 48 to 52,000 people. This year it was upwards of 70,000 people. So it made, just getting around and like standing in lines and trying to do what you wanted to do here really hard. Lots of people, so many people. And this was just one of the halls. There was 3 of these hallways filled up. And this was like still 20-30 minutes before we were even allowed in. So it got so much worse than this. But your boy. So every year, we don't stand in this line. There's like up around here, there's an escalator that takes you up to the 2nd floor. And then there's like a pathway that cuts to the left. And normally only industry people use that door, but they allow anybody. So we were able to basically skip all the lines, or skip the line in all day because we knew special path. So here's the Call of Duty. This was the first thing that I was able to get into. I wanted to get into Destiny. But the line for Destiny, even with being some of the first people in all of the days, Destiny filled up immediately. Destiny 2 was like the biggest hits of E3. That's what everybody wanted to do. The line was always the longest. It was always super jam-packed, like getting people through. So I got it. I was able to get in the COD line because the Destiny line overfilled, and it felt a lot like what was it? World at War, for those of you who played like the older ones. So it was kind of like a throwback. It was decent. I mean, I probably won't buy it just because Call of Duty got ruined. Like, they ruined their own game. But it definitely wasn't one of their worst. That was the first game I played. I was actually playing next to another streamer. He apparently was so really fucking big. I didn't know who he was. But he was like getting asked all these questions and all this shit. And I look over, I'm like, do you stream or something? He's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Do you? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And we started talking about some shit. And we ended up being on the same team. And apparently he's a big first-person shooter game, and I was 22 and 4, and he was 18 and 8, and he was like, who the fuck came in first place on my team, blah blah blah. And I was like, he looks over at me, he's like, are you the one with 22 kills or whatever? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, fuck you, man. He's like, I play these shooters all day, how did you beat me? And I'm like, dude, I don't know, I play a children's card game. So apparently it wasn't that great. This was the Monster Hunter booth. The game looks pretty cool. For those of you who played any of the other Monster Hunters, you'll definitely like this one. We didn't actually get to play it. It was more of like a demo walkthrough. So they showed us the boss fight and what to expect and how to do things. So it seemed cool. There's nothing too much there. There's a pano shot. This was by the Monster Hunters to our left. What was to our right? To our right was Ubisoft. I don't know where the fuck this was taken. I don't know. This guy's having some weird freaky shit going on to his face, but let's move along. So It was an hour and 15 minutes from where we slept to the convention center where E3 was. So for those of you who don't know LA, there's, as soon as you leave the city, it's super mountainy, and we apparently took the scenic route, which I don't know how this happened. It was simply, we made a wrong turn somewhere, and all of a sudden, within like 15 minutes, we were in a location with no cellular service on a mountainside, driving with no rails or anything. Like, there was just, we were just driving along the mountain. Like, if you literally just turned right, you die. Just die. Just instantly dead. No one's gonna find you. It was some hills have eyes, scary shit going on here. So this was a picture before, if I were to die, I wanted people to know where the fuck I was. Not that this picture would really help you, but I wanted some recollection of, hey, Rob was here. And back here, if you look really deep, this is where the city was. So I don't know where the wrong turn was around this area, but somehow we went on the highway to Hills Have Eyes really quick. It happened so fast. I had no idea what happened. So we started taking a lot of pictures up here. Yeah, there's my face. It's like, what the fuck did we just do? You know, I have no cellular service. I'm wearing what seems to be like decent clothing, so if I get robbed, you know, could have some cash on me or something. I don't know. It was a whole lot of not so good. Again, pictures on the mountainside. It was really, really pretty. And with living in Florida, we have no mountains, so like seeing all the hills and stuff was crazy. This was in the Nintendo portion. Nintendo had a huge section at E3. Normally their section's always roughly this big, but it seemed that everybody else scaled down in like their area, and Nintendo kept their scale the same, and it was just fucking packed the whole time. You know, everybody's walking around with these little fucking goober hats, because if you played the Mario Odyssey game, you got yourself a hat like Mario has. So you had everybody wearing these goofy goober fucking things, and the lines to that were just fucking ridiculous. I didn't stand in any Nintendo line. There was no way that was gonna happen. It was just not. It was just too much, and it was like a 3-hour line to play a Mario game, which I didn't really have any interest. But they had a lot of cool stuff here. A lot of amiibo stuff. A lot of they had the Fist game playing up here on the screen. Again, huge space by Nintendo. Here's just more Nintendo. There's the tank over here, which I think the next picture is in front of this tank. That is a pretty cool tank. He's chill guy. That's about it. So this was the Destiny section. So for one would think the Destiny and the Activision booth had both Destiny and Call of Duty connected to it. Took like 2 hours to get to play Odyssey. Oh yeah. When I was standing in line the last day, they said it was 3.5, James. And we tried to even get there first. I was like, fuck it, I'm not standing in line for 3 hours to play Odyssey. I'd rather go play Shadow, or not play, but check out Shadow of Mordor and stuff like that. So here's the Destiny booth. It was 4v4 multiplayer, and they had a couple different sections to try to get the people flowing, but this wasn't even near close to the amount they should have had. Like the line for this was just fucking ridiculous. Here's some more on the left hand side. So the last picture was over here. So they had like, you know, 3, 1, and then 1 on the other side. So they had like 5 setups in total. So 5 times 8, 40. Here's inside of the Destiny line. They had all of the class specific things. So here's the Hunter body kit. They had the Guardian and whatnot, but there was so many people that taking a picture was really hard. But they had like the suits of everybody, which was pretty cool in the line. The weapons that I'm pretty sure were 3D printed. That was pretty cool. Here's more weapons. That's a meme that I posted. Battlefront, we actually were able to, this was again one of the longer lines with Battlefront for sure, because they had only one place that you could play it, and the games were roughly like 20 to 30 minutes long, and you could only have 32 players playing at one time in total, so it was 16 on either side. And it was a big deal. The game played really nice, really good. The Battlefront 2 was super cool. A lot, in my opinion, a lot better than the first one they had made, due to the fact there's like a lot of customization with your dudes and what you can do with them. And it kind of feels like before, when you played a guy, they all felt relatively the same. no matter who you played. I mean, obviously there's a difference between like when you're playing, I don't know, like Luke Skywalker with a fucking lightsaber and you're playing like a stormtrooper with a gun. That's not the difference I'm talking about. The difference is like when you play different stormtroopers, do they feel different? Does the gun shoot different? And this one, it did really feel like you had a little bit more customization to your guys. And the maps were really cool. When we played, there was a little bit of lag though, so it wasn't the best experience in regards to actual gameplay, but mechanically, the game seems pretty cool. I'm definitely probably gonna play that one. So here's like the screen. They had 16 TV screens on one side, 16 on the other, while one defense and the obviously attackers. We were the attackers, so we were the clones, and I fuck some people up. Holy shit. So I sat back. If you seen me play Overwatch at all, I'm a more of a sniper kind of guy. So I was sitting back fucking sniping some plebs, and it made it really difficult because it was lagging. And then I finally got, so in this game, when you kill somebody or do an objective, you get points, and those points you can use to unlock more guys. Like the other one, it was just fucking random. Just like, oh look, I got Luke Skywalker. Look at me, I got Darth Vader. I'm so lucky. This one, you actually have to do well, and when you do well, you get points, and those points can be spent on upgrading your hero, so you can get like a better stormtrooper, and this is in the game. Each game resets, like a better robot dude, or you can pick the champion or heroes, and each map has its own heroes. This map was Darth Maul and Boba Fett, and of course I picked the Boba Fett, and I started flying around, raining fucking rockets on some plebs. I had like fucking 30 or 40, not 30 or 40 kills. It was like high 20 kills. High in the 20s. One game I actually had like 30 some kills. But Boba Fett did some fucking work. So here's some more pictures by it. So in the trunk is where I had to sit for most of our journeys because we had 6 people. So I was sending pictures of my friend. I was like, fucking save me. Because I had to sit in the trunk and it was hot as shit. So yeah. That was that. And here's some more of the mountain pictures. Crazy. It's just like a crazy view because if you look down, it's just like straight down. So it's like, how do people like live? Because there's like houses up here, and it's just like there's no roads to them. So that's like, what the fuck did they do? Like what do you take a helicopter? Like there'd be just like a little house and a shack, and there'd be a car parked, and there's no roads. There's no, like, how do they, storks? Birds? Like, how do they get their shit? It's just standing out here. Good old pictures. Crazy view. Sun setting. Pretty nice. There's, this is our temple stance. I posted this on Twitter. So this is our temple stance, and I believe this goes into a hidden mist. No. This is the temple stance, and then this is the hidden mist crouch. This is don't attempt this by yourself. It involves extreme accuracy and precision, and it does a lot of damage. So you watch out if you're trying to pull off one of these stances. You need to watch yourself. So here's sliding into the DM. So this is a pano shot my friend took, and I was like, am I in the picture? And all you see is my head here on the side. They're like, Rob, what the fuck? You ruined the picture. So they're sliding in. This is so Quake had a booth, and in order for you to get anything regarding Quake stuff, you had to win, and it was a 4v4, and we were actually supposed to be playing against what looked to be a bunch of plebs, but somehow they ended up going like in a weird different line, and then we had to play the other people who were next to us, and two of those players have already been in line 3 times and won 2 hats. One of the players was like a semi-pro Quake player like a couple years ago, or whenever Quake was big. And then the other player was a friend of the semi-pros who was playing Quake. And I'm like, you fucking kidding me? We just waited an hour and a half to play Quake. And of course I wanted a hat. And I'm like, we're going to get paired up with these guys. If we lose, we have to go back in line, and I'm not going to lose. And I was with the team of my friends, so it was me, my buddy Gabe, his brother, and Brian. And none of these guys have ever played Quake before, and they don't even play first-person shooters. I think one of them plays Overwatch. I was like, all right, guys. So I gave him one of those speeches, where we needed to win. I was trying to pump these motherfuckers up because there ain't no way that I'm gonna lose to some fucking Quake pros because I wanted this hat. So I'm sitting there cheering, like right before we go on, like, team, let's fucking do it. The other guys are like, what the hell, you're just gonna lose. So we go in there and I fucking go in. I fucking carry the shit. I don't know where the picture is, but I took a picture with the score. I went like fucking 13 or 14-2. I put on my fucking backpack, let everybody jump in, and I was like, come on guys, we got this. So there was no fucking way I was gonna let these plebs win. So we ended up winning by like 5 points in Quake, and yeah, I put on the biggest tryhard boots you've ever seen. I knew I had played Quake the alpha like 2 months ago or a month and a half ago, and I knew a couple of the maps, and I was hoping that we would get one of those maps, which we did, and I knew exactly where the fucking sniper was. I know the other team knew as well. But I went to that sniper and I fucking sat in the back and I'm like, I don't give a fuck how many times you guys die. Don't let me die. And I'm sitting there like, hold the line, boys, hold the line. They're like, Rob, we're like, Rob, we haven't got a kill yet. I'm like, don't worry, fam. Just don't let me die. So we were able to pull off a victory there. Here's Hafu. She was up on stage doing a Shadowverse, like interview with one of the game developers talking about all the new cards and in Shadowverse. So I waited for her to get finished with that booth, and then she was walking around. I was like, hey, you gonna take a picture of Hafu? She's like, okay. So it was nice meeting Hafu. Here's the Days Gone booth. If you want to take a quick pic to see how many fucking people are in line, I think this should represent my thoughts on Days Gone. Everything at E3 had a line. Take a look at this. This tell you anything, fam? Like everything had a line. Everything had a, like, we're talking like even the shit that there was a line to pick up bags, like to put your items in. Like people were there was a line, there was lines for lines. There was actually, I'm not kidding, there was actually a line to get in line for the line because there was so many people. These motherfuckers had nothing. Nothing. Oh, and then we saw Ice Poseidon when we were in the, we said we were literally almost sitting next to Ice Poseidon during the Spider-Man theater. He was fucking annoying as shit, and I don't like his content at all. But he's super popular, and more popular than I'll ever be. So I decided to take a picture. There he is again. There was some weird fucking girl with him. I don't know if this is a girlfriend or whatnot, but this was like the definition of like what not to be when you grow up. Like it was fucking weird what they were doing, but they were live streaming and all that, so they had to make it entertaining. And of course, she's wearing a pretty scandalous outfit, so I'm pretty sure that helped his viewer count. But it was fucking weird. Anyway. So this was so our last day at LA, or in LA, we drove to Laguna, which was a 3-hour drive, and there's this super cool beach with this big rock formation. And we always climb out to these rocks, as you can see here. Like, we climb these, like, there's waves pounding and all this stuff. And, like, if you slip, you're so fucking dead because all there is below you is coral and death and scratches and fucking broken everything. So you got to be really careful when climbing these rocks. But you get some really good shots, and it's really cool. So we're on the rocks there taking pictures of what to do. So you can see all these rock formations. Here's a big ass rock that we climbed. It doesn't look that big here. But it's like, here's the land, and it took 3 flights of stairs to get from like the top of this land right here to the beach. So this is at least 3 stories high, this one rock. And we climb this rock, and there's all these other rocks out here that we climb. And there's like crabs going everywhere, and all kinds of things, little fishes in the gaps here, and couple other people. And this is where the hot girls were that we were talking about earlier. So there's a friend Brian right here. Here's our Gabe's brother, and Tony's right here. He's bending down doing something dirty to the ground or something. So here is when we're on top of the rock. If we want to look very precisionally over here, at the center of, like, look at my mouse. Right there is where the hot girls are. That little dot right there. Not that I was scoping them out or wondering where they were, but that's just where they were. Here's from the top of the rock, looking at the beach angle. There's one of the felines right here, bathing, sunbathing. It's a rare sight, like a unicorn. But yeah, so cool story. So we climbed this rock, and then here's Tony. I didn't even know he was right there. There's Tony. So there's the first step of rocks, which are this side, and you hop over this big patch, and then this patch is like where the beginners go, right? This patch right here, right here. And then once you want to go to the more advanced section, you cross when the tide, when big waves come, you don't go, but when the waves go back out, there's this formation of rocks right here that you can cross over and go to this side, which is where this guy's at. This is the advanced section part 2. So there's this rock. But then, if you want to get even deeper, there was this super skilled elite section, which required you to be extremely fucking skillful. And so, when the waves would hit, all of these rocks would disappear. And all this is water, by the way. So we had to wait for the perfect moment so there was no waves, climb down from this rock, hop from this rock to this rock to that rock. This is a gap of about, I don't know, 3 feet. So you had to jump this gap without tripping onto this rock right there, which then got you to that rock, which then got you over to this side. If you fell anywhere in here, you were gone. You were getting swept away. And to this valley right here, which you get fucked up, and this valley will casually take you out to sea. So there was zero slippage. This was a zero fuck up zone right here. This was the make it or break it. And then once you received here, you got a golden reward. That Mario star was right over the hill, and we fought Bowser shortly after that. So that was super cool. So that's our Laguna, and we're sitting on top of, this was the advanced rock farther out, and so we took a good picture of that. There's me and Brian conquering. Here's me off a solo, and then this was our flight back. Our buddy Jordan, he was really tired, so we just kept he was really tired, but the funny thing was me and Tony, we actually got like a ton of free drinks. So before we had gotten on our first flight, because we had a connecting flight, there was a Rock and Brews next to our terminal. So we're like, let's go eat. So we went to go eat, and then Tony was like, you want to get a bottle of wine? And I'm like, sure. How much is a bottle of wine? So it was like $30 for like a bottle of wine, and we split it. So it'd be like $15 each, and that's like 2.5 glasses for what, $6 or $7? And that's not bad, especially at an airport. So we split a bottle of wine. We have 30 minutes till we take off. So we down a bottle in like 30 minutes. We get on the plane and we're like, so we take off, and we were like, all right, can we get some alcohol over here? So the lady passes by and she's like, would you like some water or some soda? We're like, can we get some mixed drinks? She's like, yeah, it's gonna cost extra. We're like, we don't give a fuck. We're drunk, or not drunk, but we're pretty good already. We're toasted. So we're like, oh, can we get like 2 gin and tonics each? So the lady's like, okay. So she grabs these like little bottles of alcohol and like a tonic drink or whatever. It's like a soda can, but it's not soda, it's tonic water. And she gives it to us, and she mumbles something and walks away, and we're like, why are you not making us pay for this? And then so I'm like, oh, we'll pay at the end of the flight, no big deal. So this is like $20 with alcohol for each of us. And later in the flight comes, the flight guy's like, we're preparing for descent. And we're like, shit, is she gonna come around and give us, our bill or whatever? And then so we land, and everybody starts to get up to unplug to get all their luggage down, and she hasn't come to ring us up for the alcohol. So we kind of just were like, okay, I guess she forgot. I don't know how she forgot, because we're sitting there fucking both toaster strudeled, because this flight was only an hour. Because by the time we were up in the air, it was by the time we got down, like it was really quick. So that was 2 more drinks there. And then when we got off the plane for our connecting from Houston, Texas to Orlando, there was a bar the second we got off of the airliner. And so we're like, fuck it, let's hit another bar. So we go to the bar. This is Texas. So we order a beer each, and these beers are fucking huge. We're talking, this beer is like fucking like 3 beers worth. And we're like, what the shit? We just wanted a beer. So here's me and Tony trying to drink like 2 or 3 beers worth in one beer in like 20 to 25 minutes. Because our connecting was right away and it was right to the right of the terminal. So then when I'm like 25% left of my beer, I noticed that there's a cut, or I should say a scratch, not a dent, not a cut, not a scratch. I don't know, like it was like a broken glass, but it was inside my cup, but it wasn't like on the outside. It was like internal a cracked glass. And so I was like, just pointing out to the bartender, I'm like, hey, this glass is cracked. You may not want to use it again, because if you put it in the washing machine in the high temperatures of the heat, and then when you put ice in it, it's going to cold and then it's going to crack. They were like, oh no, robot. And then so I don't know where I left off, so we'll go with the crack. So there's a crack. I told the bartender, hey, you may not want to use this again. And she ended up giving us, she's like, oh, do you want another beer? And I was like, no, I was just letting you know that, you probably shouldn't use this bottle again. So she walks over, refills Tony and my beer, and give us a whole new beer, both of us. We're like, what the fuck? So now we're like 4 to 5 beers in, because these things are fucking huge. In like 25 minutes after the bottle of wine and the gin and tonics from the last flight. And so we get on the plane. And we just fucking knock out, because it's at this point it's like 3 or 4 in the fucking morning, because we had a red eye back, because we left at like 7 and then we got in at like 6, and there's that 3-hour difference. So we were so fucking tired and so drunk, and we both just passed out for like literally 4 hours. That we didn't wake up. Like normally on flights, you periodically wake. Nope, we were out, done, toaster fucking strudel. So. And then obviously with the pressure differences, I don't know if that affects alcohol at all, but Jesus, it was an experience. So that is our E3 in a nutshell. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. But that's that's a brief summary of what happened. Also, there was some other indulgements, but those were not